episode here on Life Choices. This is our holiday season. We are going to be baking with Brooks today, and we're going to be doing some holiday cookies.
Yes, indeed. This is one of my favorite holiday cookies from when I was growing up. Super easy recipe. We've got Bradley helping out mixing our wet ingredients. I'm going to do dry ingredients. We're going to incorporate them together.
And does this specific cookie have like a name?
This is a cherry pecan holiday cookie. We're gonna make it with some of these delicious little candied cherries. These guys are great. They last forever. So I love this recipe. I like to bake a lot, but even if you don't, all of the ingredients that are involved are gonna be either things that you have around or things that are shelf safe, which is great. And then this recipe also involves chopped pecans, but if you wanna skip that, you can. Don't. It's delicious.
All of these ingredients for this easy to bake cookie recipe are readily available at any grocery store. Now my only question is what if someone couldn't find these candied cherries? Would they be able to substitute that for a different type of cherry?
So this is just the brand that I found. I would highly recommend though that you do find the actual candied cherries. Even though they're the same color and look as a maraschino cherry is not gonna have the density that we need to hold the cookie together. So definitely take the time to find candied cherries for this recipe. Literally Publix, Walmart, any of your neighborhood grocery stores should have candied cherries, especially around the holidays. And then the rest of our ingredients here, we've just got some chopped pecans, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, and then this recipe calls for milk. I subbed with half and half because that is what made sense for what was in my fridge. Works just fine. A little bit of butter and vanilla, and then in Bradley's bowl here, we're starting with brown sugar, and in mine, we're starting with flour.
Okay.
So let's get mixing.
Okay.
So Bradley's gonna start by incorporating the butter and brown sugar together.
And of course, at the bottom of this video, you'll have the exact recipe to follow step by step. So don't worry too much if we don't tell you the exact measurements right now. It will be at the bottom of the video.
Absolutely. I like to find really easy baking recipes where there's primarily the two big starting steps are just going to be incorporating wet ingredients together and dry ingredients together, and then from there, as you'll see, this one is pretty easy breezy. I am making a mess here and also putting my baking soda and my salt in with my flour.
Okay, so now that I have the sugar and the butter creamed together, how much of the half and half that we're going to be using?
We're gonna do 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons.
And I'm gonna do a half teaspoon of cinnamon here. Bradley and I were just talking about how baking, unlike cooking, tends to be more of an exact science. So you really do want to get your measurements correct, but that is primarily true of your ingredients like flour and baking soda that are kind of making the magic happen over the elements that are adding flavor. So if I really love cinnamon and wanted to bump that up in this recipe, that is totally doable.
Right, because the dry ingredient of cinnamon isn't going to react any way by adding too much dry or too much liquid. But if you added like too much milk, let's say, with baking, then you're thinning out the recipe, and that could kind of like fudge it up a bit.
Absolutely.
And now that I have the milk or cream added in here to my side, how much vanilla shall I be putting in?
So this recipe calls for a half teaspoon of vanilla. I usually just give it
It's about a half teaspoon. We've been doing this for a while, so we kind of know what a half teaspoon looks like.
Again, you don't want to drown your recipe with a liquid ingredient, but vanilla is there for flavor, so you can kind of eyeball that a bit.
Okay, so wet ingredients, dry
ingredients.
Done.
Yep.
And we'll add in the nuts and the cherries at the end.
That is exactly right.
So we're gonna add the dry to the wet.
To the wet.
And then I'm gonna keep whisking until it all comes together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. Can I give you a little bit of this?
So are we doing this like kind of like in 3 parts where we add a little bit, mix it, kind of let everything come together? So like most cookie batter recipes, if you dump the whole flour all in at once, it would be kind of difficult and you'd make like a huge mess. So you can see how it comes together. And then we're gonna add a bit more And we're gonna keep doing this until all of the flour has been absorbed by the wet ingredients. Making as little mess as possible, but if we make a mess, it's not a big deal because A, it's our place, we gotta clean it, and B, we're having fun, so it doesn't matter if we get a little messy while we do it.
And C, there's no egg in this recipe, so that's a nice thing that you can keep in mind. Like if you are wanting to, you know, make it with kids or whatever, you're not having to worry about there being egg in any of this cookie batter.
And of course, if you are sharing the exercise of making this recipe, I do
make Bradley do the hard part.
I do suggest to volunteer for the dry ingredient side because this part is the little tougher part.
So this recipe can be made with a hand mixer. We thought we'd keep it a little bit quieter for you guys today, and frankly, it's not an absolute need. So Bradley here is just muscling through.
And we're gonna get a bit dirty here because we gotta get all of this batter out of the whisk. And then, I mean, I'm guessing because it's kind of well blended right now, if you're wearing gloves or what have you, you could kind of put it together with your hands as well, which I'm gonna do anyways.
Yeah.
And then now we have
the fun part. So this is 1 cup of candied cherries. 1 cup of candied cherries. Dumping in here. I'm also gonna get my hands a little bit. Yummy holiday flavors here with the pecans and candied cherries. I like this recipe too because if you want to do an easy Christmas cookie but not like your typical just sugar cookie that's decorated, this is cute and colorful and delicious. I think our recipe here calls for a half cup of pecans, but I fully just like eyeball it.
And where did this recipe come from?
This recipe, I grew up with my mom making it, but it is actually my paternal grandmother's cookie recipe. My grandma's holiday cherry and pecan cookie recipe. Are you gonna hand incorporate that?
Would you like me to?
I mean, it's totally up to you, I feel like. Yeah, I want you to. Go crazy.
The next step that is gonna be done is by like putting this all together, but you said we're gonna put it on a sheet of plastic wrap first so it can kind of mold together.
Yeah, so this is a cookie recipe that is really great if you're prepping cookies, like if you're doing a full baking day and you want to have some cookie dough ready to go to go in the oven, maybe like not right after you finish. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a log, we're gonna pop it in the fridge to chill just so it kind of helps the cookie stick together.
And then how long are we gonna let that chill for?
About 4 to 6 hours.
Okay, and then obviously once it's chilled in that log form, when you take it out to cut it and place it on your cookie sheet or your parchment paper, it's gonna stay together better because it's been chilled together.
Yeah, it's been chilled together, so it's gonna be easier to cut through. Here, I'll give you guys a little preview of a final. So this is a movie magic vlog that I prepped for you guys. So it's a little bit colder, so when we go to slice it for the cookie sheets, it's gonna hold together versus what Bradley's holding in his hands, which would just crumble apart on you. But we are gonna show you this step of rolling it out with the saran wrap. You can do this with saran wrap or wax paper, whatever works best for you. Incredible.
I've made a massive mess here, but
You've done an incredible job. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, so usually what I kind of come, scoot on either side of this so you don't even have to get your hands dirty if you've got Bradley in the kitchen with you. And then I just kind of shape it. You want it to be about 1 foot long and like round because we're gonna slice the cookies out this way. So just thinking of that. And then this can go in the fridge. It can also go in the freezer if it's gonna be a while until you're planning to make them. All right, that's what you're working with. Okay guys, now we have our cookie log from the fridge. It's been chilling for about 4 to 6 hours just to get it nice and firmed up for us. Tossing that away. And we are just gonna cut it into our cookies now. I've got that it's meant to be about 1/4 inch. Honestly, you can use your judgment of how you want your cookies to be, they are not gonna like make a huge change in shape once they're in the oven.
Okay, so they're not gonna spread out or lift up too much. They're basically gonna stay the size and shape that they are.
That is correct.
Similar to like a peanut butter cookie, because they don't typically really expand too much from the way you mold them. They just sink into their little sheet.
Yeah, the ones where you'll do like a little fork little thing on the top of them.
Yeah.
We should do some peanut butter cookies. Bradley, what's your favorite holiday cookie?
Cinnamon cherry pecan cookies.
You're in luck. All right. So yes, like we talked about, these are not going to move like crazy, so we can have them a little bit more snug than some cookies when we're setting them out on the cookie sheet. I would typically throw down parchment here. We don't have any, no worries. And then just like roughly keeping in mind that the shape that they're in before you put them in the oven is probably what you're gonna get. So if you want a more organic look, which I like for this cookie because they're filled with like nuts and fruit, this works just fine. If you want to ensure that they're perfect circles, you'll just make sure that you do that before you pop them in the oven.
Okay, so
We've got our oven on 350. We're gonna pop them in for about 10 minutes. Hi everybody. So we got our cookies out of the oven. I lied a little bit because they're a teeny bit touching, but for the most part they didn't grow massively. We just let them cool here for a second, and then I'm gonna take them off and plate them so you can get a look at these pretty and tasty little pecan cherry holiday cookies. Alright guys, here are our cherry pecan holiday cookies. Bradley, will you do the honors of trying one out for me?
Not gonna lie, I did sneak one as soon as it came out of the oven, so I'm gonna try them again. They are really good. Now, I like them because you got these big chunks of the candied cherries, and it's very, very sweet of a cookie, but very different for something that I've tried before, like normal like peanut butter or chocolate chip. And it was wonderful. I want to shout out to the Daigles for passing down this recipe so that Brooks can come here today on Life Choices and share it with us. It's wonderful. Thank you very much for taking the time to cook with us. And as you guys know, Brooks is part of the P gang. She's usually behind the camera unless we're doing a trip, and then she's like kind of center stage. But today we thought it'd be fun to do a Christmas cookie, holiday cookie with Brooks, because Brooks bakes. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Wait. She's gonna let you skip it. I'm not.
Like and subscribe.
Yes. Like and subscribe to Life Choices, but Brooks has an Instagram page where you can see all of the creations that she makes. It's a Vibe Bakery. We'll make sure to put it in the footer of this video. Go check out more Baking with Brooks.
And you can always order one of her cakes from her too once you get that information at the bottom of the video. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. Much love, everyone.